Awaken Light Audio. Awaken your mind. Ignite your light.
7 things to keep private. Protect your peace and power. What if your biggest losses didn't come from failure, but from saying too much too soon? What if protecting your peace starts not with who you trust, but with what you choose to keep sacred? And what if your true power lives in silence, not in performance, not in exposure, not in applause? Let privacy be your superpower. The sacred power of privacy. There's a quiet pain no one talks about. The pain of being too open with people who never earned your vulnerability. You shared your plans, and they doubted you. You opened up your wounds, and they dismissed them. You gave your whole self, and they only consumed it. We live in a culture of exposure. Tell more, show more, prove more. But in that chaos, we've forgotten something ancient, powerful, and rare. The art of keeping certain things sacred, because not everything needs to be shared. Not every opinion deserves an answer. Not every emotion needs an audience, and not every part of you should be up for public inspection. Privacy isn't secrecy, it's spiritual self-respect. It's knowing what to protect, what to nurture. In silence, what to keep for yourself. Not out of fear, but out of reverence. When you learn to keep some parts of your life private, you begin to walk differently, think differently, choose differently. You're no longer broadcasting, you're becoming. You're cultivating it, quietly, fiercely. SACREDLY. So now, take a deep breath, let go of the urge to be seen, and step into Chapter 1, where your power starts not in what you share, but in what you protect. Chapter 1. Stop sharing your future plans too soon. Your dream doesn't need more eyes, it needs more action. There's something deeply intoxicating about telling people your plans. I'm going to start my business. I'm working on a book. I'll quit my job by the end of the year. I'm changing my life. It feels bold, brave, inspiring. But too often, it's a trap. Because every time you speak your vision before it's ready, you open it up to resistance, ridicule, and premature expectation. Exposure weakens energy. When you speak your plans too soon, 3 things happen. You receive premature validation. People cheer before you've earned it. This satisfies the ego and kills the drive. You invite external projections, doubts, questions, comparisons, and fears. Not yours, but theirs. Now weigh on your shoulders. You waste sacred energy on talking instead of building the energy that could have gone into momentum. Gets lost in conversation. What's sacred should not be spoken too soon. Build first, speak later. Your dreams are like seeds. When you plant them to shallow, the wind of opinion can blow them away. But when you bury them deep in the soil of discipline, focus, and inner conviction, they begin to take root, where no doubt can reach. Let your work grow in the dark. Let it take shape quietly. Let it bloom, without announcement. Then, when it's ready, it will speak for itself. Ask yourself, who do I keep telling my dreams to, just to feel seen? What would happen if I stopped talking and started building in silence? What part of me is addicted to being validated before I've earned results? There is power in secrecy when it's aligned with purpose, not out of fear, but out of respect for the process. The first practice, the silent sprint. Choose one important goal in your life. Right now, then make this agreement with yourself. I will not speak about this goal to anyone for the next 30 days. No hints, no posts, no shares, just action, discipline, daily commitment in silence. Then watch what happens. You'll feel freer, more focused, more connected to your why, and far less vulnerable to noise. This is how you reclaim power, by letting the world hear the result, not the rehearsal. Whisper to yourself, my dreams are sacred. I do not share what I'm still building. Now that you've taken back the power of your vision, let's move to another sensitive but essential space, your Financial world, because peace is not just about what you earn, it's about how well you guard it. Chapter 2. Keep your financial situation to yourself. Wealth whispers, insecurity shouts. Money is one of the most emotionally charged subjects on earth. It triggers envy, it provokes judgment, it attracts false connections, and it magnifies both admiration and resentment, often at the same time. That's why those who truly build wealth learn to protect it with quiet dignity. Your finances are not public property. You don't owe the world access to your income, net worth, salary negotiations, investments, business wins, savings, goals, struggles with debt. Every time you share too much about your financial life, you risk turning an intimate reality into a public performance. And the cost: misplaced expectations, unsolicited advice, shifting power dynamics, silent resentment from others, internal pressure to prove or defend. Money isn't just numbers, it's energy, and that energy leaks. Private, wealth grows best in silence. Some people post every achievement, every win, every raise, every milestone. But true peace around money comes when it's managed privately, built intentionally, protected quietly. Let your accounts grow, not your announcements. You don't need to explain your success. You don't need to justify your struggle. Your financial life is a sacred garden. Tend to it, water it, harvest it quietly. Ask yourself, where do I feel the urge to overshare about money, and why? What insecurity am I trying to soothe with financial transparency? What if I trusted my journey enough to protect it in silence? Remember, you're not hiding. You're honoring your boundaries, honoring your energy, honoring your right to grow in peace. The second practice, the money bubble. Draw a circle on paper. Label it my sacred money space. Inside, write the people you trust to discuss finances with, the values that guide your spending and earning, the boundaries you will set when asked intrusive questions. Then add this affirmation to the page: I don't owe anyone my numbers. I owe myself my peace. Keep this somewhere private. Let it ground your confidence. Talk to yourself. My financial life is my own. Quiet power is real power. Now that you've secured your external world, it's time to turn inward, to a space even more vulnerable than money, family. Because the deepest loyalty you'll ever hold, it doesn't belong to the public. Chapter 3. Protect family struggles behind closed doors. The world doesn't need to know your family's flaws. Healing begins in silence. Family is where we're first shaped. It's where love, pain, loyalty, and history all collide. Because it's so personal, so raw, it's also easy to overshare out of frustration, validation, or even relief. But every time you speak about your family's wounds in public, you're not just telling a story. You're tearing a thread in the fabric that holds you. Some doors should stay closed. Family issues are complex. Arguments, disappointments, betrayals, generational scars. It's tempting to vent, to expose, to seek sympathy. But ask yourself, are you releasing pain or just transferring blame? Every time you share a fight with your sibling, a parent's failure, a spouse's struggle, a child's mistake, you give away not just your story, but theirs, too. And once trust is broken in those sacred bonds, it rarely returns untouched. Silence isn't suppression, it's protection. Protecting family struggles doesn't mean ignoring them. It means choosing the right place to process them. Therapy, not Twitter. Prayer, not gossip. Private dialogue, not public judgment. Your family deserves space to heal, not to be dissected by strangers. There's strength in being the one who breaks cycles without breaking hearts. Ask yourself, do I share family problems to heal or to be right? Have I aired grievances that weren't mine to share? What would it look like to protect my family even when they've hurt me? You can set boundaries. You can demand change, but you can also protect the dignity of the people who raised you, shaped you, or once tried their best, even if they failed. The third practice, the circle of safety. Write down the top 3 people you talk to when family struggles arise. What type of support you actually need from them listening. Advice, comfort, a commitment. I will not speak about my family's wounds in places that cannot help them heal. This helps you create a container where emotions are held, not leaked. Remind yourself, I can break cycles without breaking trust. My silence is an act of loyalty to healing. Now that we've honored your roots, let's turn to another type of trust one people give you, often quietly, often rarely, their secrets. And once someone places that weight in your hands, what you do with it defines your integrity. Chapter 4. Respect the secrets others entrust you with. When someone shares a secret with you, they're handing you a piece of their soul. Handle it like glass. There is a sacred moment when someone leans in and says, "Can I tell you something? I've never told anyone else." In that moment, time slows down. The air shifts, and what follows is not just information. It's vulnerability. It's a wound. It's trust on the line. And what you do next matters more than you know. Not every story is yours to tell. We often think sharing someone's secret is harmless. Just one person, just a funny story, just something to fill the silence. But the moment you repeat what was told in confidence, you've done more than gossip. You've violated sacred space, broken trust, placed your own curiosity above someone else's. Courage, trust, is earned over time and destroyed in seconds. The more you talk about others, the less others will talk to you with their hearts. Be a vault, not a megaphone. If someone opens up to you, ask yourself, do I have their permission to share this with anyone else? Am I protecting this moment or exploiting it for connection? And if you're unsure, say nothing. Silence isn't avoidance, it's respect. When you guard someone's pain like it's your own, you become a sanctuary, not a liability. Ask yourself, whose story have I told that wasn't mine to share? What reputation do I carry, trustworthy or talkative? What kind of space do I create for others, safe or shallow? Being a safe place for others is a gift few offer, but those who do become unforgettable. The next practice, the sacred space oath. Write this down and say it out loud. If it was told to me in trust, it ends with me in silence. I will not trade someone's vulnerability for a moment of relevance. Let this be your personal code, a commitment to live with integrity that echoes louder than words. Tell yourself, I honor what others entrust me with. My silence is a gift, not a weakness. Now that you've learned to protect the stories of others, it's time to turn inward to something far more subtle, yet just as sacred, your own goodness. Because in a world obsessed with applause, it takes a powerful soul to do good and stay quiet about it. Chapter 5. Let your good deeds speak quietly. The most powerful kindness is the one that expects no witness. We live in a world where everything is captured, posted, shared, where every act of generosity comes with a caption. Every helping hand is followed by a highlight reel. But here's a deeper truth. Real goodness doesn't need an audience. It already knows its own worth. The moment you do good only to be seen, it ceases to be serviced. It becomes strategy. It's no longer love, it's leverage. When ego enters, purity exits. There's nothing wrong with sharing inspiration, but ask yourself honestly, are you posting your donation to encourage others or to validate yourself? Are you volunteering because it aligns with your soul or because it aligns with your image? Are you giving without expectation or secretly waiting for recognition? The line is thin, and the soul knows when you've crossed it. The strongest roots grow underground. Think of an oak tree. Its roots grow deep, wide, and unseen. That's what quiet kindness does. It strengthens your character, purifies your intent, builds trust with the unseen forces of life, because whether or not anyone notices, the universe does. Silent service is a contract between your soul and your integrity. Ask yourself, what good have I done that no one knows about, and how did that feel? Have I become addicted to being perceived as kind instead of just being kind? Can I let my actions echo in eternity, even if no one claps? The truth is, you don't need credit, you need clarity, that you are living from your values, not your vanity. One more practice, the invisible gift. Do one act of kindness this week and tell no one, not even your closest friend. Whether it's paying for someone anonymously, leaving an encouraging note, donating in silence, helping someone when no one is watching, then simply walk away. And let your soul smile quietly. Whisper to yourself, I don't need applause to be meaningful. I give because that's who I am. Now that you've learned to move from quiet generosity, we arrive at a more tender place, one that's often raw, often personal. Your health, because not all healing should be exposed, and not every scar needs a stage. Chapter 6. Keep your health battles sacred. Not every scar needs a spotlight. Some healing needs the safety of silence. There's a strange pressure today to announce every diagnosis, every treatment, every struggle. We live in an era where even pain is content, and vulnerability is monetized. But true healing, the kind that touches the soul, often happens away from the noise. Not all pain is meant for public consumption. When you're navigating health issues, people may ask, how are you doing now? What did the doctor say? Have you tried this remedy? Can you keep us updated? And while some questions come from love, many are driven by curiosity, not compassion. When you open up too much, too soon, you invite opinions instead of empathy. You become a subject of speculation. You carry the emotional labor of managing other people's discomfort. You don't owe anyone the story of your pain. Sacred healing needs sacred space. Healing is deeply personal. It's physical, yes, but also emotional, spiritual, energetic. And when it's constantly explained, shared, and exposed, it loses the safety required for depth. Some parts of your healing are meant to be whispered in prayer, shared with one trusted soul, held between you and your breath. Not broadcasted, not dissected. Silence is not hiding. It's protection. Ask yourself, am I sharing my health challenges to feel understood or to meet an expectation? What would it feel like to protect my pain instead of proving it? Who in my life truly earns the right to know my battles? It's not about shame, it's about sacredness. You get to choose how your healing is held. Another practice, the healing circle. Draw a small circle inside. Write the names of only those you fully trust with your health story. People who will support without fixing, listen without judging, hold space without leaking. Then write this affirmation: I protect my healing with reverence. I share only with those who can hold it gently. Whisper to yourself, my health is mine. I choose who enters my healing space. You've now reclaimed the sacred ground of your body and heart. But there's still one more place many people overshare. Not because they trust others, but because they don't trust themselves to hold their own pain. It's time to talk about your fears and weaknesses and why not everyone deserves to see them. Chapter 7. Don't broadcast your weaknesses and fears. Vulnerability is sacred. But when given to the wrong people, it becomes a weapon against you. There's beauty in being open. There's power in being real. But there's also danger in thinking that bearing all your fears all the time to everyone is healing. It's not. Sometimes it's emotional leakage. Sometimes it's self-sabotage. Sometimes it's an unconscious cry. Someone hold me, because I can't hold myself. Not everyone is safe for your struggles. We all have moments of doubt, panic, insecurity, despair, and when we feel overwhelmed, the instinct is to let it out, to anyone who will listen. But here's the truth. Your rawest fears need containers, not crowds. When you share your inner storms with the wrong people, you risk misunderstanding, manipulation, mockery, even weaponization. People may nod, but not all will care. Some will use what you said in a moment of pain to define you forever. Guard your emotional landscape. True strength is not about hiding what you feel. It's about knowing where, when, and with whom to feel it fully. Your fears are like sacred fires. They can warm you or burn you. They need tending, not exposing. Instead of tweeting every panic attack, venting your self-doubt to people who haven't earned your trust, looking for validation in public spaces. Try writing it down, sitting with it in silence, speaking with someone who can hold it wisely. Healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like breath, stillness, a whisper only your soul hears. Ask yourself, where do I overshare my struggles, and what am I hoping to get in return? Have I ever regretted telling the wrong person too much? What would it look like to honor my fears without making them public? You don't need to prove you're struggling, and you don't need to parade your pain to be seen as real. Sometimes the most profound maturity is to whisper to yourself, yes, I'm hurting, but I've got me. The last practice, the internal grounding ritual. Next time you feel overcome by fear or weakness, do this. Pause, put your hand on your heart, say silently, I honor what I'm feeling, and I will hold it with grace. Write it in a journal. Choose one safe person to process it with, if needed. Not the world. Let this become your sacred practice of self-containment. Remind yourself, my fears don't need an audience. They need a sanctuary. Chapter 8. The Power of Inner Restraint. The strongest souls are not those who speak the most, but those who know when to stay silent. In a world obsessed with expression, where everything is shared, posted, and shouted, restraint is rebellion. Back your truth, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. That's power, that's maturity, that's evolution. Restraint is a spiritual discipline. Every time you choose not to argue a petty point, defend your reputation, overshare your pain, flaunt your success, reveal someone else's failure, brag about your generosity, bleed your emotions in public, you are not hiding, you are healing, you are anchoring, you are growing deeper roots beneath still waters, because silence isn't emptiness. It's a form of inner strength few are trained to hold. Restraint is the signature of the emotionally wealthy. You are not here to explain everything. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Not every fear needs to be spoken aloud. Not every thought should be made public. You are allowed to keep parts of yourself sacred. Hold space within yourself. Be quiet in your evolution. Protect your truth like treasure. You don't need the world's permission. To be your own sanctuary, ask yourself, what part of me do I always feel the need to explain? And what would happen if I stopped? Have I confused attention with validation? What would my life look like if I trusted my silence more than I feared misunderstanding? Restraint does not mean repression. It means sovereignty. It means your peace is too expensive to be bought by applause. Talk to yourself, my silence is not absence. It is presence fully owned. Let the world wonder. Let them wonder why you're so calm. Let them guess how you're so peaceful. Let them feel your power without ever hearing your explanation. Because that's what quiet power does. It walks through the world untouchable, protected by sacred privacy, guided by wisdom, and rooted in truth. You don't need to prove your growth, just live it. You don't need to explain your transformation, just embody it. Let your stillness speak. Let your silence shine. Let your inner restraint shape a life so powerful it no longer needs noise. The final affirmation, say this to yourself. I no longer waste energy proving who I am. I protect my peace, my power, and my path in silence. Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions. Send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.